Hey guys, King of Charmanders here, and today I bring to you the Nergigante Bow versus the Gold Rathian Bow. Which is the best? Well, this video analyzes these two new super bows because we're going to compare both bows and review their strengths and weaknesses. And these two are super weapons, as they are the best dragon element bows in the game. Both are going to be incredibly powerful, and if you love super weapons like I do, and you need a dragon weapon, then this is something, or two things, that you might be interested in. Actually, just go after one of them, unless you really want to max both of them. First, we're going to start off with the base damage comparison. And right here, we compare the base damage of the Nergigante Bow and the Gold Rathian Bow. And both bows have a charge level 3 to damage level 4, which is 2 blinks. So this allows you to deal an enormous amount of damage, and as you see, when you calculate the weapon comparison tool for it, which is this exact fast charging style, you get per the data, Nergigante Bow is barely better than less than 1%, or 0.16% to be exact. So by pure just damage wise, yes, without anything else considered, Nergigante Bow is a tiny bit better, a literal tiny bit. 0.16 is incredibly small, and you probably won't notice the difference. And another thing to notice is that Gold Rathian Bow has crit. So you see it has 30% positive affinity. So when we analyze the full builds, it's going to change the data significantly. Well, not really significantly, but you're going to see a change. Next off, we have the top 3 full builds of the Nergigante Bow and the Gold Rathian Bow. So we're going to compare all of them, and as you see per the data, Gold Rathian full builds are stronger. This is due to the 30% critical chance provided by the Gold Rathian Bow at grade 10. So again, you upgraded grade 10, you get 30% crit. And when you pack on more damage, that means the crit affects the build and the damage of the weapon a lot more. But despite this, the Nergigante Bow builds barely lose out by about 2 to 4% damage depending on your build you're looking at. So it barely wins. This is something you will barely notice as far as numbers go. And there's a whole lot of conditional skills you see in here, as far as latent power and fighting spirit. So there's not overall truly, as we're looking at full builds, there isn't a humongous difference. But if you like big numbers, this is the big numbers where you're looking at. Speaking of big damage, here we have the top 4 Driftsmelt builds of the Nergigante Bow and the Gold Rathian Bow. So we're going to compare top 4. The reason I'm doing top 4 is because literally everything else is like fighting spirit. So I filtered out all the data here for the most relevant builds. And as you see per the data, Gold Rathian Driftsmelt builds are still barely stronger. About 6% to be exact, depending on the build. So when you take full Driftsmelts into consideration, it's not that much of a difference at all. It's like very small. Depending on how you want to look at it, depending on which build you want to compare, this isn't going to astronomically change your timing when you slay whatever monster you're trying to use either one of these bows against. However, the top builds aren't consistent as they use conditional skills like latent power and peak performance. And if you factor in poison exploit, this actually goes, the numbers tip off a lot more because of poison exploit. However, that's also a super conditional skill in comparison to the others because it does not play a factor unless the monster is poisoned by another hunter in a group hunt. So this isn't like latent power or peak performance. You need someone else to actually help you with this, so it's not consistent at all. And this brings us to the shot type comparisons of the Nergigante Bow and the Gold Rathian Bow. So yes, both have a charge level 3 with damage level 4, which is 2 blinks. However, Nergigante arguably has the better shot type as it has Pierce while Gold Rathian has Spread. Some of you don't like Spread, you don't like being up close and personal. At the same time, Pierce in general has been the better one overall. Depending on how you put them together, Pierce usually does more damage than Spread, however it could be the other way around as well. And Nergigante also has a charge level 4 with damage level 4, which is 3 blinks with rapid level 4. So if you need a pivot and you need to charge one more time, then you're going to be able to fire rapid level 4, say something like Black Diablos flies across the map. Well, guess what? You're going to be able to do an extra charge and not have to rely on Pierce if need be. But the problem with that is Gold Rathian doesn't have a charge level 4 at damage level 4, making it where you have to fire at charge level 3 or you lose DPS. So if you perfect dodge out of something, you get that +2, you're going to fire Pierce level 3 instead of Spread level 4. So you have to be really cautious about your timing as far as where you're at in your charge levels and which one you're using, whether it be Nergigante or Gold Rathian. In addition, you gotta take into consideration the equipment skills, and here we compare the equipment skills of the Nergigante Bow and the Gold Rathian Bow. So Nergigante has Part Breaker level 2 and Hunter's Unity, while Gold Rathian has Poison Exploit level 2. Nergigante has a better equipment skill that can net you more Part Break rewards and stun the monsters. Hunter's Unity is okay, you need other you need other hunters in order to activate it. But the thing is, Part Breaker level 2 is busted. It's really good, and if you use the Kushala Bow, or you have a max Kushala Bow like I do, it's incredibly powerful, and with Part Break level 1 with that full build, it does a lot of work and can help you a lot in the long run. Gold Rathian's equipment skill requires you to have another hunter that can inflict poison. So it's super, just like Hunter's Unity, it's super conditional. It depends on who else is in there, and you don't know if they have like a grade 10 poison weapon. So you don't know when they're going to inflict poison, you don't know how often they're going to be inflicted, you don't know their build. So it's just too many factors to consider for Poison Exploit to be consistent. And there are currently 3 monsters in the game with poison and dragon weaknesses. You have Kushala Diora, Deviljho, and Passarios. So unless it's those 3 monsters, and again, unless the other hunter can inflict poison, you're likely not going to have both of those factors in together. So it's really dependent on what and who is in your party, in your group hunt. And now we move on to Nergigante Bow's pros and cons. Its pros: it has charge level 3 to pierce level 4. This allows you to stay at a safer distance when engaging monsters. If you have Black Diablo's Bow, you use Black Diablo's Bow, you know that pierce level 4 is pretty dang good. Especially with the way you're able to dance around and stay at a safer range. This matters a lot more, especially if you like to save potions. And it also has charge level 4 to rapid level 4, allowing you to transition should you need to. If you perfect dodge and you accidentally go to level 4, well, you're going to still fire at level 4 damage. You're also going to be able to fire a rapid shot type, so it's going to be very accurate. And overall, Nergigante Bow has the better and more consistent equipment skill. But it is not that great, because the reason why is it's expensive. As we move on to its cons, again, it's expensive, and it requires an exceptional amount of time and resources. As someone that has an actual 10-5 Kushala Bow or an Elder Dragon weapon, I'm going after this one. But just to tell you, and anybody else that does have one at full build or got it to really grade 10 early without waiting for your freebies, it's really expensive. So don't just be like, oh, okay, you should go after Nergigante Bow. No, there's a lot of things to consider personally and also in the game as well if you want to go after this. And it does lose out in practical theoretical damage to Gold Rathian Bow, although it barely loses. 2 to 4% or 6% depending on Driftsmelt Builds. It's not a lot. So it does lose out overall, but if you're a big numbers guy and you are really OCD about them numbers, you're not going to want to build this one. Up next, we have the Gold Rathian Bow's pros and cons. Here are the pros. It is a rare species and can be found on the field during events. So you're not going to have to worry about using your Ultra Hunting tickets or running out of Ultra Hunting tickets taking on Nergigante, because you just have to be patient. And Gold Rathian will be on the field for the first time after the global event and possibly in the future. And it also has charge level 3 to spread level 4, allowing you to deal heavy damage up close with a melee range feel. So if this is the first time transitioning to a super bow for you, well, this is going to be really good because you start off as melee. If you've never played range, this is going to be very, very easy. Well, not easy, but allow you to adapt a lot faster than you would with a pierce bow. And it does more practical theoretical damage than the Nergigante Bow with a full build, along with Driftsmelts, although it barely beats Nergigante Bow. I put that out a lot just because, yes, big numbers are good. However, when it's a different stat meager, it might not matter in the long run. You'll see very similar results depending on player skill, as well as performance and what you're fighting as far as monsters goes. And here's its cons. Spread leaves you vulnerable to more monster attacks, so you might use more potions. Another thing to consider is that when you use this build, the full builds for the Gold Rathian Bow do not have evade extender like the Kushala Bow. So because of that, you're going to be more vulnerable to monster attacks and you're going to have to adapt even more. And we've already beat Poison Exploit to death, so I'm not going to go super into it, but you need to have another hunter that can inflict poison. Therefore, the equipment skill is relatively useless unless you can meet those requirements. And it doesn't have a charge level 4 to damage level 4. Meaning you must fire at charge level 3 as often as possible or lose out as damage. You can't full charge and go to rapid or something like that like Nergigante. You have to fire at 3, otherwise you drop off and fire at pierce level 3. really does feel like that sometimes, especially when you're trying to clutch up with one of these super weapons and you're like, I just need one shot, and then it lives with like 1 HP, so you gotta fire one more thing. That happened to me like 3 times a day for some reason. But hopefully this video helps you learn more about the dragon super weapons. The thing about it is, both are incredibly powerful, and truthfully, both are worth building depending on which one you can personally go after. So again, if you're not willing to gun out and just destroy Nergigante to oblivion just for this bow, and you just want to go after Gold Rathian because it's on Elder Dragon, perfectly justified. However, both are still going to take a while. I have a Metal Dragon at 10.5, I have an Elder Dragon at 10.5. The Elder Dragon one's harder. And when it comes to the basis of just maxing either one out, you have to get lucky. And you have to hope Rarity 6 Jesus, RNGesus, blesses you. So, yes, take that in consideration. Make sure, don't listen to someone that doesn't have one. They have no idea what they're talking about. It's really hard. And if they don't want to go that hard for it, they probably are just, they're literally just faking it to you. Because, yeah, these two are hard. Please do me a huge favor, like, subscribe, and comment for the YouTube algorithm. We got Global coming out soon. The Metal Dragon's gonna come out soon. So again, both are still really hard. You gotta get lucky. So I wish you the best of luck in your drops. Good luck on your grinds, and I will see y'all on the next video.